well as in all over India. So this is a very promising stream, and obviously this will be a hot career going ahead. So with this, I actually have took a lot of time. So thank you for that, and we'll take the question and answer session at the last, cumulatively for all the sessions. So I'll hand over to Dr. Chatterjee again.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Dr. Chatterjee, for your wonderful lecture. So our next, speaker, Dr. Chandrama Mukherji. Chandrama, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a second, Dr. Chandrama Mukherji. Dr. Chandrama Mukherji is an assistant professor in the Department of Life Sciences at Presidency University. She did her graduation with chemistry honors and did her masters in biochemistry from University of Calcutta. Dr. Mukherjee studied regulation of DNA replication in human parasite Entamoeba histolytica during her PhD from Bose Institute. Later, she moved to Ohio State University, United States for her postdoctoral studies. During her postdoc, she extensively studied RNA stability and established a very new concept of RNA recapping, which changed the paradigm of our understanding on post-transcriptional control. After working in RNA biology for quite a long time, she did another short-term postdoctoral study on clinical pharmacogenomics. In 2017, she returned to India and started independent career at Presidency University. Dr. Mukherjee is studying different aspects of molecular and cell biology for more than a decade, and she had published in several reputed journals like Cellular Microbiology, Nature, PLOS Biology, Nucleic Acid Research, etc. from her PhD and postdoctoral studies. She had been awarded very prestigious postdoctoral fellowship from American Heart Association in USA and later Ramalingaswamy Re-Entry Fellowship from Department of Biotechnology, India. At present, she is studying RNA translation and decay, post-transcriptional control of long non-coding RNAs, and epigenetic regulations. So, Dr. Mukherjee, please carry on with your lecture. Madam, you're mute, I think.
So now can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So thanks, Chandra, and thank you, ANDRAGOGY, for this webinar. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm trying to share my slide here. Just
Yeah.
so can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's next? So when Mr. Chatterjee actually asked me that if I am going to, take part in this webinar series, I am a little bit overwhelmed because it's a very crucial decision in our life. And when I heard that this webinar mostly the undergrad and postgraduate students will attend, so to give the direction of their future career is something really very, very, important. So I'm trying to my presentation short, and I'm trying to just, give you the key points, not elaborating on many things at the same time. So, the Dr. Chatterjee showed you in the previous slide, that it is very important to know yourself, to judge yourself, to assess yourself, to check that what you like most and which of part of the training you enjoyed most. And while going through the journey of your undergrad or postgrad session, like which skills you actually love very much. See, this pandemic has changed everything, and I'm pretty sure that all of us are facing like new challenges in life. We are coping with that, but definitely after this pandemic, the education would be different. The skills which we will need in the future, those would be different. So it is very important for each of us to acquire the special skills, and so like make a very an informed and an educated career choice. So you may think that how I decide that where I will go. So the best way to find out the answer, that to talk to your peers, talk to your friends, your teachers, or your parents. And now, especially in this time, there is so much information available in the web. There are so many tools which actually can help you to assess yourself. See, that is the very, very crucial part. So, suppose as I have mentioned here, like there are really very good tools like My IDP or the Imagine PhD. Like there are the tools by where there are several parameters, and you can feel and you can see like which particular training you are like you see yourself comfortable or probably not comfortable at that time, but if you just try to improve yourself after 6 months, you will see, okay, I am like now in a better condition. So it's a very dynamic situation at this time of your career, like at the junction intersection or after. You don't think that if I can't do this right now, I cannot do it for never throughout my life. You need to reassess, you need to rethink, and reanalyze. I think because this is the one of my favorite quote from our earlier president Abdul Kalam, that you need to involve. Without your involvement, you really cannot succeed, and with your involvement, you can fail. So, as Dr. Chatterjee already showed you the different areas, like when you are actually graduating or post-graduating from life science or life science allied subjects, you may find that there are several opportunities either in academic field or in the non-academic field. So basically, what is the advantage of having graduation or post-graduation in life science or the allied subjects? That you can go either to the academic career, you can take either the academic career or the non-academic career. And right now, like there are several non-academic careers which are not available before. Like just 1 decade or 2 decades before, there are no options of these non-academic careers like specialized services, like like there are I've seen like the animal house or the different like sequencing data analysis, the bioinformatics by the management. So there are like many things. You just need to think what you want to do, what part of your training or of your study you enjoy the most. That is the most important decision, that you need to know yourself and you need to take a educated decision. And also, I would like to mention that suppose some of you have an honors in botany, or some of you have an honors in zoology or physiology. In presidency, we are having a honors UG course or a PG course in life sciences. So where all the subjects marks. So, and this message is to those students who have either botany or physiology or genetics as their in their UG or non PG. Don't think that you are not fit for the other allied subjects. So try to open your mind and don't close your mind. And also remember that the academic excellence is not the main criteria for building a career. Everything matters. Like how you are interacting with your friends, how you are interacting with your teachers, what is the sense of responsibility, what is their communication skills, if you are a very nervous person, or if you change very frequently, so how actually you are dealing with stress. So all these factors in the life that matters, and that actually can decide, or that as a whole be the deciding factor. So as I have shown here, like these four P's should be, you need to check on these four parameters. You need to assess your strength, you need to find your weakness, you need to open your eyes for the different opportunities, and also to be successful in your career, you also need to understand what could be the possible threats. So this is for the people like who are about to graduate. So what are the different avenues you can have? So there are like several admission tests for the various universities or institutes throughout the country for entry into the different MSc courses in biochemistry or in biotechnology, and there are like several job admission tests. So hopefully you are aware of this. And also like there are like, like I am just like keeping here like 5 or 6 main points. And there are also like several individual entrance tests conducted by the universities. For example, we in Presidency University have our own entrance system for admission into MSc into life science, and from last year we are having a PG course also in biotechnology, and we are having two very specialized biotechnology, one in plant biotechnology and another one in microbial biotechnology, started from last year. Similarly, St. Xavier's also have their separate entrance exam for their biotechnology courses. So if someone after graduation want to go for a master's, then they can have these several options. They can go for all the different, can take the different admission tests, and they can be enrolled themselves into the different master's courses. But for someone who don't want to go for a master's degree, what will happen to them? Is the road going to be closed for them? No. That's the advantage. If you are like having a graduation in life science or in the allied subjects, that there are several skill development programs in various areas of life science. So the National Skill Development Corporation, that's a organization which actually is catalyzing the skilled to generate skilled personnel for industry. See what happened, whatever we have been taught in our school, college, and what you really want, the skills you want to have for working in an industry. So there are some differences. They are not the same thing. So there is always a gap between the demand from the different companies and the supply. So to just meet this gap, the Skill Development Corporation of India has several programs. And it works with the partnerships with the different private sectors, some international bodies, central ministries, state governments, universities, school systems, many different organizations and innovations. So they have, if you just go to this website, you can see that they have different programs in three different sectors of life science. One is the one is in for agriculture, another one is for healthcare, and another one is for life science. So if you just go and check these websites, you will see there are various skill enhancement programs which are planned first thinking of the job. So how does it work? Suppose one company like Novartis or like Lupin approached the body and say, hey, we need some human who would skilled with in this. So then these skill enhancement programs are designed in such a way that the human being who have been trained on this through these programs, they are skilled for working in this particular company. So this is like very, very specific. This is just to generate the skilled human power for that particular company. And some of these successful programs are here already, like this is going on for last decade. One is in Bicep, it's by the Karnataka government. And there are also like the several states have this kind of programs. And on behalf of the Department of Biotechnology, the Biotech Consortium India Limited, they also conduct training programs. So, and the good part is that for this type of training programs, sometimes they have the eligibility like 10 plus or 12 plus, but most of these training programs, like the UG graduates, they can apply for these training programs, and everything is like very, very, like formulated. Suppose this is the skill development programs, and these are designed for the specifically for the agricultural sector. So you can see like there are like several sections like the information management or horticulture or watershed management. And for working in those areas, you really need very specific skill sets. With just whatever you have taught during your undergrad, probably you will not be able to do the job. So that's why these skill specific programs are very important. And next, there is similar programs also for healthcare. You can see here like the anesthesia technician. So for this program, you can see like the how many hours you need for this course, those defined, like what kind of practical trainings you need, that's also defined. So everything is defined, and at the end of this program, you will get a certificate. At the most important part of it, these certificates are certified by National Skill Council India. So with that certificate, you are eligible to go for any industry job where you have that similar like job description for which you have been trained. Okay. Similar programs are also like exist for life science. And if you just like check, if you go, you will see like there are like a variety of different jobs. So, and with your UG, your graduation degree, you are eligible for these courses. So next, now, suppose if you join the post-graduation course, and after the post-graduation, then what's next? Then, if you want to pursue a career now in academia, probably you are thinking of going for research. And for that step, you need to qualify or you need to get all these different entrance exams across the country. And like the different entrance exams, the joint entrance exams conducted by the different institutes. And then the very, very important part or important question comes into the mind. Suppose you got the entrance, you have now that in your hand. But most crucial part is that where you are going to do your PhD. I'm only discussing about this inside India because we have another speaker and I'm expecting her to talk about the different PhD opportunities in abroad. So the first really important decision you need to make, which lab should I join? Remember, PhD is a big journey. On average, it's a 5 to 6 years journey. So you should be very careful. It's your career. So you can see now in India, we have many universities, either central, state, deemed, many institutes, IITs, ISERs. So there are like lot of opportunities. But you need to identify that in which field you are interested. As I am showing you by a nice image by Samantha, who is an advisor in PT, that what does research means. If you just check all the different bullets, so research actually is a collection of many qualities, and that is it's a training program. It's not just a degree. It's a training program. It gives you a philosophy in the life. By this journey of life, you will be skilled with many things. But first thing you need to decide which lab should I join and which part of the area is really important to me. So you need to find out the field of your interest. You need to go critically through the different literature and what questions are coming into your mind when you are going through this literature. And then what could be their hypothesis. You have to test those hypotheses, and then you need to interpret the results, and the final thing you need to publish your results. So all these different things you need to do as a PhD scholar. So you can see it's like a huge task, right? So for that, what is the most important to you, that you should work with a very strong dedication and peacefully, because now that lab life is your life, and you need to select your area, or you need to find the lab with really critical thinking. So you need to go to the lab multiple times. You need to get the idea of your lab. You need to talk to the different people in the lab to get an overall idea like how the PI could be. You need to talk to your PI, and you also need to check that what is the employment status of the past students, or how many people are there in the lab. If it's a like too big lab, probably the PI will not have time to talk to you. Or if it is a very less number of students, so probably like the PI is not that good, so that less number of people are joining. What is the working hours? Is there a pressure on the working hours? Is it like 10 to 5, or is it like something different? So you need to like check all the parameters, okay? Because if the atmosphere is good, then only you can work really hard. You work with your dedication, and there should not be anything which can stop. And as I mentioned, like you will acquire many things during your PhD. Like you will start thinking, you will generate the thinking power, critical analysis. You will have like a like a teamwork, because it's like a communication between many people. So you'll have a time management also. You will also have like like the leadership skills, because you need to talk to many people during this PhD journey. And this all the skills, whatever you are like you are like accruing through your PhD journey, you can actually manage those skills later in your career. So if you are done with PhD, it's not really mandatory that you now I am having a PhD in my hand and I have to only go to. No, that's not true. You see the example of our previous speaker. So even after PhD, you have two avenues open for you. You either go to the academic career, or you can go to the non-academic. So in academic career, either you can go for a postdoctorate period, like journey, or you can try for faculty. But remember, there is like a statistics I am just going through the other day. Only 0.4% of the PhD students will get the faculty job. So, but there are many more avenues. So it is not like that if I don't get a faculty position, my life would be ended. So there are like many industries or managements or like IPR, like intellectual property rights or biopreneurship, or like scientific data writing, scientific literature writing. So there are like many job opportunities also in the non-academic career for you, and it is actually more challenging because and also the needs of these careers. So each career, each job has its separate needs. So you need to mold yourself according to that need. Suppose whenever like you are a professor, like you are like working in a university. Suppose take example for me, like of me, like I'm working in a university. I am having some of my research topic which I am working for years. But when you are working in an industry, you really cannot work with one thing for years, because there is a pressure. You have to get the deliverables after a certain time. So you really need to work in accordingly to timeline. It's not like that you can work in an industry so long time. See, so every job is different. Every job has its own pros or cons, but you need to groom yourself in that way. And okay, so this is I'm like after PhD, after the post graduation stage, you can go to PhD, and then after PhD, you can go to either again academic career or non-academic career. But also, there is another option for the postgraduates with the master's degree. can go to some skill development program. And Biocan has a very good skill development program in collaboration with some international agencies where you can actually go for specific training programs. And for Biocan, the eligibility is the MSc in any kind of biotechnology. And this program is very well designed, and you have to go for admission test. And you can see in the my table, there are all the different companies. They can actually take people from these different skill development programs offered by Biocom. And they also everything is in the website. You can see the course modules. It's very, very interesting, and it's also very good. If you in one place, you will be in contact with so many industries, all the industries, the leading industries in India. And so lastly, I'm going to end my talk here with one of my favorite leaders, that you have to make your world. You really have to think in a new way, and you need to save the world on a different path. It's a very beautiful video. It's now viral everywhere. I really wish you to go through his speech. So thank you everyone. Thank you the audience, and thank you the ANDRAGOGY Institute and the resources. And some of the images are taken from Dr. Shumon Govil, who is an advisor. And I really request you to go to India Bioscience, the website. There are many informations you will get. And for the skill development programs information, I thank my colleague, because in presidency, we are going to start skill development programs in the near future. So with this, I'm ending here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chandrama. Thank you very much. You are really fantastic. I think your talk is really inspired to the students. It's really an inspiration for the students. So we are going to our third speaker, and we take the questions later in our third session. That will be better for us. So our third speaker is Dr. Devyani Pal. Dr. Devyani, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Devyani did her MSc in microbiology from University of Calcutta. After 6 months of teaching at St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, Kolkata in 2008, she applied for PhD abroad and awarded her PhD degree from Miami University, Oxford, Ohio in 2014. She worked as a postdoctoral researcher at Cleveland Clinic Foundation and Ohio State University Medical Center from 2014 to 2019. Now she is working as a research associate at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, Department of Energy, Government of USA. She published many paper and book chapters during her PhD and postdoctoral research. Dr. Devyani got Best Postdoctoral Trainee Award from the Ohio State University College of Medicine. She also have a patent on regulatory stability of hepatocytes growth factor to modulate c-MET signaling. So, Dr. Devyani, you can proceed. Wait for a while.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, Shamrata, for the kind introduction, and Andragogy for giving me this opportunity. I hope you all can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So as Shamrata already gave the introduction, so I will go directly to my talk. So I would like to start my talk with a question to myself, and that is, how was my journey in academia? And my answer is wonderful. So one thing Dr. Mukherji already mentioned, and I would emphasize in my presentation today, again and again, because you guys have no idea how important that is, which is this is from my personal experience, that your academic journey or your academic experience, your life in academia, depends a lot on your choice of supervisor. A good supervisor can shape you to become the best version of yourself, or that supervisor can break you. So choice of supervisor is very, very, very important to stay in academia. And in that scenario, I was lucky because both of my PhD supervisor, Carol, and my postdoc supervisor, Matt, they both were two wonderful persons. They both gave me the opportunities, lots of opportunities. Most importantly, they gave me the freedom to work independently in the lab, to design my own experiments, to come up with ideas. And they were not scared that Devyani might fail, she might destroy my money or my lab reagents. They believed in me so that I can believe in myself. So all those experience actually helped me and gave me a good experience. So I decided I will stay in academia forever or as long as I can. So Dr. Mukherjee already mentioned, and before that also, I would start talking about some of the assumptions that we always have since we started our undergrad career or postgraduate about academia and industry. Like there are certain assumptions, we always have that in our mind, and I feel like those assumptions actually influenced us to make our decisions. And I will talk about, based on my personal experience, whether those assumptions are myth or reality. So the first one is, we always believe that academia is more flexible, and that is definitely true. I personally believe that working in academia gives you more opportunities because you have flexible working hours. You have the freedom to decide to make your own schedule, to work according to your schedule, your clockwise, and that also comes with a lot of responsibilities, because one must be very much efficient in time management and prioritization. So that is very important. And also what happens in industry is way more structured. When you are doing industry lab research, it's time restricted and way more structured because they want to make sure that you work hard in a confined amount of time so that the maximum productivity they can get from you, right? But in academia, you have that freedom. However, there is always an exception when your supervisor is the ultimate boss. So there are two types of supervisor in here. One supervisor, they don't care, like when you come to the lab, when you leave, as long as, can you hear me? Sorry. As long as you are productive. But there are some supervisors who will be like, on the clock, no matter whether you are doing research or just sitting with your coffee cup in front of your laptop from morning to evening. They just want to make sure they can see your face from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 8 p.m., whatever. So those kind of thing is true for academia. The second assumption is academia pays you less. Yes, based on the relative information, irrespective of which country you are or your geographical locations, industry, of course, offers you a lucrative salary. But there are certain form also, like the certain division. It depends, like if you are technician level 1 with your bachelor's degree or master's graduate and technician level 2, there is a salary difference. And staff scientist, of course, you have to have a PhD experience and 2 years of postdoc. But overall, industry definitely pays you more. But the million-dollar question will be, are you enjoying your job? Are you happy doing a government job, 9 to 5 job, banking sector, or wherever you are? Money is important. I can understand. I definitely agree with you. But money should not be the ultimate deciding factor to decide whether you want to stay in academia or you want to move to the, industries. And another thing is, based on my personal experience or how things work in here, those who are pursuing PhD or will be pursuing PhD in India, and then you think about applying for a postdoc position in here, always remember, in USA, the postdoctoral salary is based on either NIH scale or NSF scale. And besides that, different university, different institute, medical institute have their own rules and regulation on your paycheck. So me and my lab mate, this is an example. We started our PhD career at the same time and we graduated at the same time. She grabbed a job offer or postdoctoral job offer in an university, and I joined Cleveland Clinic. And my salary was way higher than her salary. So this is an example. I bet there are several medical institute in here like Cleveland Clinic who will pay you relatively higher amount compared to the other institute. But the main or the take home message is that when you apply, you can always keep that in mind where you are applying and how the pay check or the salary structure is going on in that universities. And the thing is, like, why, another question is why industry will hire you or why industry will pay you more. So you have to have some sort of specialized skill in order to get a job in the industry. That's why they will pay you, right? And how you can get that opportunities or specialized skill. So back in India, when I was doing my master's from Baligan Science College, this was like 12 years ago, and we did a summer training, and we have this thing like we have to do 6 months research training in IICB Bose Institute, to name a few, during that time. And we have to learn, whenever we joined the lab for 2 months summer training program or a 6 months project training, what we always wanted to learn everything, every single technique that lab will provide you. But don't do that, because try to find your passion. If you are going to join as a project trainee, try to find one particular skill that you can sell in the job market. You have to sell yourself in the industry job market, and that is true. Until you sell yourself or until you have that specialized skill, nobody will pay you more. The third assumption was academia provides more room for intensive reasoning and thinking. Yes, that's true. I agree to some extent. Academia gives you freedom. You can ask questions. You can disagree even to your boss. Even already published some data, you can disagree to that concept and you can still perform your own experiment. However, in industry, what happened? You are working for the company, right? And industry is often driven by a confined business goal. So you have to work for the team, with the team, because all of you working together to make that goal happen, right? So in academia, however, flexibility matters. Suppose those who are like, someday you will have your family, right? And I personally believe staying in academia helped me better to give time to my I was able to give personal time to my daughter and my family. Because here also I will give you an example. Me and my husband both started our postdoctoral journey together, and I was the one who was pregnant when I joined. So when my daughter was born, United States is the only country probably in the whole world only give you 6 weeks of maternity leave. So we started sending our daughter to daycare when she was 1.5 months old. So she was sick, and during those sick days, we couldn't send her to daycare. So we talked with our boss, and we were blessed that we were in academia, so that me and my husband started working in a shift. And this is important for you to keep that in mind. In this country, you don't have help from extended family. So these kind of things, shifting work, like no particular schedule, morning to late afternoon, I used to work, he used to work until midnight. So this is something is not possible in industry most of the time, at least in here. So those are the certain things you should keep that in mind when you decide, like whether you want to stay in academia or you want to move to the industry job. Another assumptions we all had, that industry-based professionals do not have the same level of insight or complexity. They don't know like the person who stays in academia, which is absolutely wrong. Because most of the staff scientists or all of the staff scientists in industry in here have the PhD and then postdoctoral experience, and then master's level also have their experience from their graduation studies, working in the lab, basic science techniques, like Dr. Chatterjee said. So those kind of things you define us like whether we will be a good eligible candidate for the industry job or the academia jobs. So what is the main difference between industry and academia? I feel like the main difference between industry and academia is just the work culture. Academia is often, focused like the experiment focused, like the discovery focused. Most of the time you will do things for the sake of learning in academia. So you have that scientific mind freedom in academia to think independently, to spend more time in one project. However, the impact is slow. Like your research impact will be slower. Why? Because when you are working for an industry, you will discover something, and as soon as you will discover something, you will try to do the commercialization of that thing. And then after the commercialization, things move very faster in industry research, and you will see a direct impact of your research on patients' life, which is kind of rewarding, I feel like. Second thing is, in academia, like Dr. Mukherjee said, work overload is another thing. You are doing everything by yourself in academia. So if you want to commit for a PhD career, postdoctoral career, always remember you have to do a lot of stuff in the lab. You are doing your projects. In USA, you have to do, no matter whether you have master's degree from India or wherever country you are, you have to still take the finish the coursework, get your GPA points more than 3 out of 4, and you have to do, sometimes first year you have to do the teaching. I had to do undergrad teaching in my first year, and still I had to do the research. You have to write your manuscript, you have to write grants, sometimes you have to help your boss to write him or her a grant. So too much workload by one person, so that sometimes makes you very much frustrated, especially on those days when you don't get good data that you expected. And mad scientist is not a good scientist. However, in industry culture, industry lab research, you are working with the team, for the team, and you have a much bigger goals. And in terms of deadlines, does academia doesn't have any deadlines? Yes, academia also have deadlines, but the number of deadlines is less, and you have much bigger deadlines, like grant submission, manuscript submission, those kind of deadlines. But in industry, you have higher number of shorter deadlines. So that is another thing in academia versus industry. And then funding. Right now, after the COVID situation, 10 years back, 5 years back, the scenario was little different. So right now, the funding situation is getting harder and harder for the university researcher. Whereas working in the industry in here, it's little better or secured because you have that funding opportunities, or working for the government because the funding first goes to them, and then rest of the funding goes to other. And then another thing is, as I mentioned, like you have lots of flexibility if you work in academia, but too much flexibility, sometimes impact on your life. And why? Because not all the PIs will be same. That's why I said, like, choice of your PI or supervisor is very important when you want to pursue. First of all, if you are coming to this country, you definitely will be coming with some sort of visa, right? And there will be some PIs who will take the advantage. They will like behave like you are kind of their slave. So during those holidays, during over the weekends, they will expect you should work. So sometimes that is not possible because we all have the family. You want to make a balance between your family professional life and your personal life. So you want to work for a PI who will respect your personal life. So that is another important deciding factors. And publications also that I want to mention. Suppose after the PhD degree, nobody wants to be a postdoc forever, right? You want to move on. So if you want to stay in academia, the next step will be to become an assistant professor. So while you are doing PhD, you need to keep that in mind, that if I want to move to academia in here, become an assistant professor, I should concentrate on publishing more fast author or leading author, good impact factor journal, especially in here. Whereas if you want to pursue or move to an industry always look for your overall publications quality or overall publication number compared to your solo first author publication number. Another thing industry always look in here, it's the teamwork, like how good you are with the communication skills with the other people, whether you will be a good addition for them. So those kind of thing you need to keep that in your mind. And Academia, you will see, often teaches us that to ask question, to criticize. I don't know if there is any PhD student listening this talk. If there is any PhD student, I bet you will agree with me. In academia, what we will see, suppose you are presenting in your research, like in a lab presentation, there will be always that guy, one of that guy who will always criticize your like ideas and everything, who will always have problem, whatever experiments you are doing, whatever ideology you have. So that is okay in academia somehow. But in industry, you have to offer solutions, not only critics. So if you are like the second kind of person who always comes up with offer, not criticism, then you will be a good choice for an industry job. But if you are those first kind of person who always like to criticize others and don't like to offer solution, then probably academia will be a good choice for you. So what you should do from your post graduation or even from the PhD, networking. Previously, it was told, like, in old days, the concept was you will work in the lab like morning to evening. You will be a data generating machines. You don't have to talk with anybody. At the end of the year, you just need to give a good fast author or big impact factor journal publication. But that doesn't work anymore. You have to do the networking also. And those who are thinking to pursue their career for the industry job, networking is very important. Also, start like having more conversations with your supervisor, and do not hesitate. Always ask him the questions. My postdoc supervisor, Matt, always encouraged me to go for a coffee date with fellow colleagues, not in my lab, but in from other department, talk to them. Even, sometimes like different company people come to sell something, say Biorat people come, Thermo Fisher people come. He used to tell us that go talk to them, ask them about the job opportunities and like new techniques going on. You never know how you might find a good collaborators. So you need to remain updated all the time. Like you need to be flexible, and you need to keep your options open, eyes open for the new opportunities always. So what should you do right now to determine what to decide like whether you should stay in academia or you are a good candidate or you are a good candidate for industry? First thing is assess your qualification, assess your desire. If you are thinking to commit in the academia, it's a long-term commitment, at least a 9 to 10 years of commitment before you become an assistant professor. And then also your life goes on. Assess your qualification. Like, is your qualification or is the skill that you have is good to become an academic person or to move to an industry? Assess your personality. Like I said, in industry, people like you have to have a good communication skill, and also you need to be a people's person, like, right? You cannot be too much critics. So, and also always consider the alternative.